Hello everyone. So on my previous tier list video, I rated the ghost style. And some of you might be wondering why certain styles are on their old ratings. So in today's video, I will be re-ranking them after the balance patches. If you don't know what these balance patches were, then let me break it down. What the balance patch added were the M1 whiff nerf and the dash nerf. So I've broken down all the styles again except for the ghost style since I already rated it on a previous video. We are gonna work our way up from the uncommon to the legendaries. First we have the basic style. Basic actually has some decent damage on his jabs, making it a very deadly style for breaking blocks. And because of the M1 whiff change, you can easily catch people with these jabs, but he still has an ult that does no damage. So personally I would still keep it at B tier. Next is the long guard style. Long guard didn't get that much of a change either. Long guard still has insane range and its jabs are very easy to land as well due to the M1 whiff change. It is still just a weaker version of the Hitman style anyways, it's staying at A tier. Up next is Smash style. The Smash style recently got popular due to its very efficient block breaking M2. And because of the M1 whiff change and the dash invincibility nerf, it became landing the Smash M2 much easier. This style is going up a tier. He's going to A tier. We are now moving on to the rares. First, we have the counter style. The counter style didn't really get a specific buff due to the new balance changes since M1 whiff and dash nerfs didn't really help the counter game all that much. So it's staying at A tier. It still has some crazy counter damage though. Up next is the Corkscrew style. Corkscrew is in a similar position as Smash. Because of the M1 whiff and the dash nerfs, it made using this style much easier, and same as Smash, its M2 also made perfect dodging more rewarding. This guy is moving up to S tier due to its insane healing and its great arsenal overall. Lastly, for the rare styles, we have the Trickster style. Trickster is in a similar position as Basic because due to M1 damage buff it had, it can easily shred through shields. But this style still has a very bad M2 and very bad stats overall. Bad stamina, bad block, and bad recovery. So it is staying at C tier. Okay, now we're moving to the Mythic styles. First we have his Ippo. Ippo is crazy right now with the balance changes. It made landing his M2 easier, it made catching people with his jabs a lot easier. And the changes overall just made it a very solid style to use. Ippo also has a very clutch ultimate that does 65% damage. You can easily turn the match around with this ultimate. But it still is a pretty slow style. And you will be whiffing M1s a lot too with this style. So it is moving to A tier. Next is a very controversial style, the hands low style. Some people might say counter is better than hands low, and some people might say hands low is better than counter. I honestly don't care. But what I do know is that hands low got a lot more buffs than counter with these balance changes. His dashes are still spammable unlike most styles after the dash nerf. And his jabs also got a speed buff, making it a very good style for catching people too. But I also got to keep in mind that hands low does have a very weak defense, so due to the M1 whiff change hands low is also very easy to catch, making me move it lower to A tier, right beside counter. And last for the Mythic styles is the Wolf style. What do I even say here? If you played Untitled Boxing Game you already know how annoying it is to fight Wolf. And the dash nerfs and M1 whiff change made it much easier for Wolf to catch people with his attacks and White Fang. This style is staying at S tier. Just because of how annoying it is to fight and how this style basically has no downsides. Now we're moving on to the juicy part. The legendary styles. Let's start with the first legendary in the game, the Hitman style. Hitman is honestly still overpowered. Although the M1 whiff change made it easier for people to go in to punish Hitman, it still is pretty unreactable unless you predict it. And the dash nerfs really just made it easier for Hitman to catch people with its ranged M1s. So it's staying at S tier sadly. Now we're moving to Slugger. The Slugger style is very slow. And the M2 nerf made it so that it's way easier to dodge it. But due to the dash nerfs, it also made it so that you could easily catch people with your M2 if they're in range. And because of the M1 whiff, you can easily get them in your range if they whiff an M1. With the current meta it's a Slugger is with them. So it's moving up to S tier. And last but not least is the Hawk style. The Hawk style got affected by the dash nerfs and the M1 whiff change by a lot. Because Hawk is already a slow style, it also made it way easier for people to able to get him in a jab chain after whiffing his jabs, therefore, breaking its block easily. And the dash nerfs made it so that Hawk's backdash can't be spammed that much anymore. And since this style also relies on counter hits too, it put it on the same tier as the counter buddies. For Ghost, if you haven't watched the video I made, I'm gonna say it again here. Ghost is May in my opinion. It's a very high skill ceiling style, but once you get used to it, it's very good. I just don't like the fact that whiffing the Ghost jab instantly gives your opponent the advantage. But overall it's a decent style. Especially the M1 into M2 thing it has, which is supposedly true. So it's an A tier at best. Anyways, that's how I rated every style on Untitled Boxing Game. Do you agree with this list or not? As always, the list is in the description. That's all from me. See you guys on the next one. Peace.